Welcome on into the Sports Collective podcast, where we're just two normal dudes talking trash and spitting truth. I'm Hunter Stutch, joined as always by my co-host, Sean Fitzpatrick. And if you're out there listening to us, we appreciate you. Don't forget to like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Today, we have some fun news to talk about, some scary stuff going on in the sports world, and all the stuff following up from last episode for the remainder of the NFL draft recap. So let's get into it. What do you say, Fitzy?
Man, excited to talk about where we left off last week with the NFL rookies. Also, while it's an off season that has not been incredibly exciting from the the NBA or NHL, there's always some stuff that pops up. And looking forward to talking about that today. I guess beginning with the WNBA players at the All-Star game come out for warm-ups wearing shirts saying, "Pay us what you owe us."
Peaceful protest.
Peaceful protest. What was your first reaction when you saw this?
I thought it was interesting. At first, I didn't know that it was organized and approved by their player association. It felt more of a in the locker room, them deciding, hey, what if we got together and did this? That'd be cool. It was a little more official than that, which is nice to hear that it was, planned and understood by the league, by their players association. But my initial thought was, hasn't the NBA been bailing out your league? And so what exactly is it that you feel is owed to you?
Yeah.
I know it's been a hot topic since the shirts were worn, and you have people defending and people persecuting, but it just feels like there's a lack of understanding on the players' side of exactly what goes into paying them.
Right. Yeah, and I don't think it would be fair for any of us on platforms to sit here and say like, oh, well, they clearly just think that there's all this money out there that they're just, that's sitting aside that they're not getting. It's no secret that the WNBA loses money every year. In fact, on average, every year they lose around $50 million. This season is looking to be a success as they will only lose $40 million. You have to sell tickets. We talked about this last week when we talked about the Thunder contracts and why you're going to pay a guy like Chet Holmgren $50 million a year is because he's going to put people in the seats. He's going to help your brand.
Yeah, exactly.
Not every team has a Caitlin Clark. I'm not saying that she's the only valuable player in the league. So please hear my heart on that, listeners. But you have to sell tickets, and it's not as if you go to an NBA game and it's all males sitting in the crowd. No. I think everyone's choosing which sporting event is better.
Yeah, and looking at the crowd at the All-Star game, no one was excited. Right. No one was on their feet. And I know it's an All-Star game, so nobody's out there giving 100%. You're not going to risk injury in that. But I think it really says something when you have more lowlights from games, and that's not just the All-Star game. Generally speaking, you have more lowlights from these games than you have highlights.
Yeah.
Not to say that NBA players don't miss shots pretty bad sometimes.
Yeah.
Don't miss an easy layup or shank a dunk or whatever it is, but they're far outweighed by the good plays that are made. And there's just a clear disparity between the skill level and when you're talking about what draws in revenue, it is entertainment value.
Yes.
And it's just not entertaining to watch at the end of the day.
Not as much.
Unless you like train wrecks. Some people enjoy watching that.
Yeah. I think where the WNBA players, where their stance seems to be is the player sharing revenue. And so, for instance, the NBA, the players are getting about between 49 and 51% of that revenue that comes in, splitting that with the owners basically down the middle, whereas the WNBA players are getting 9.3%. Now, I'm a realist. That is quite the drop off. But again, I think it all comes down to the product that you're putting out there. And not being in a league that is losing a lot of money. One could argue that if the owners of the WNBA franchises decided, okay, we're going to give you 50% as opposed to the 9, well, then you probably don't have that many franchises anymore.
Probably not. And one of the interesting parts of all of this is you see there's this we'll just call it a feud for lack of a better term, um, between so many people and Caitlin Clark.
Right.
And I heard somebody say, I can't give credit because I don't remember exactly where I heard it, but I heard somebody say, you've got this, generational player that's come up and has the potential to bring the attention you want to the league.
Yeah.
And in turn, the revenue, and in turn, the salaries that you want and feel you deserve. And yet, so many people are bad-mouthing her, putting her down, and it seems like it's a time for the league to unite and say, "Hey, look, we're so glad you're here. Let's do this together." And instead, they're just acting on division.
Yes. Yeah. Well, like you said, it's been covered all over the place since it happened. We'll have to see how it plays out. I don't think either one of us are here to bash the WNBA and say that it shouldn't have a league and that, hey, just be happy with what you get. But I will say, not to beat a dead horse here, you have to sell tickets. I don't know if I see this selling more tickets.
I don't either. Yeah, I think it's more. Obviously, we're just giving our opinions, but if
Sure.
we could, we would want to shed light on the reality of the situation.
Yeah.
When we're talking about Angel Reese, giving her 2 cents on if she were commissioner, what would she do? And the first thing she says is, "I'd give us the money that we deserve." And they feel that the money they deserve is the same as NBA players. And if we're talking millions of dollars a season, then that $40 million that they're losing is just significantly more. And it's just not feasible, fiscally sound. But it is what it
Yeah.
is right now.
Yeah. And to put a pin on this, just to move on, I will say this is just my opinion. I have not read this anywhere. This is not factual and this is not meant to be insulting. I would have to imagine that if push came to shove, those, in the NBA who are help funding all this, they would just rather not have a WNBA. If this is what it's going to come down to, they just won't do it anymore.
Yeah, I could see that being the opinions of a few.
Yeah. Moving on. Carolina Hurricanes continue a strong offseason. Jackson Blake signs an 8-year, $45 million extension. Average AAV of $5.625 million. That'll begin in the 26-27 season. The Canes, man, they're having a good offseason. One of the few teams that seems like they're having a strong one.
Yeah, keep the good times rolling. So I mean, not a whole lot to say about it. I
Yeah.
love what we saw from Blake this last season, and have every expectation that it continues, barring any injury or major interference. But yeah, it's pretty sweet. 8 years.
Yeah, and not
Hang
a
on to
very
it.
high price.
No. Yeah, get them young before they know what
Yeah.
they're really worth.
I think what's interesting is you look at the Carolina Hurricanes. This is a team that made the conference finals last year, regardless of it getting beaten 5. They made it. They were one of the final 4 teams. So it's absolutely not a blow it up situation. This is something that the people with the Dallas Stars keep on saying, they've gotten a lot of flack for their lack of moves this offseason. And their GM keeps on saying, well, dude, we were in the final 4 3 years in a row. We don't need to blow this up. The Canes are in the same spot. The difference is that the Canes have money. They have some cap space.
Yeah.
So exciting time if you're a Carolina Hurricanes fan. Speaking of new contracts, Damian Lillard inks a 3-year, $42 million contract with the Portland Trailblazers. He's going to head on home after being bought out by the Milwaukee Bucks. I guess it makes sense.
Yeah, it seems like the kind of move you make when you can kind of see the end of the tunnel, and like, all right, time for things to start winding down, and that's a cool move. Things come full circle.
Yeah. I imagine you get to a point, I think he's 36, I want to say. Him going to Milwaukee was trying to go get a championship. And if you're going to play alongside Giannis, you've got a pretty decent chance, especially in a wide open East. Obviously, the injury happens. Milwaukee decides they're going to move on. And I think it's the best outcome you can hope for. You're not really chasing rings anymore. Your family's already in Portland. Go home, use the facilities, make a few more bucks, and finish out where you started.
Yeah, a few more bucks, man. That's quite the deal to go out on.
Especially considering he's going to make $14 million next year just from Portland. That's not counting what Milwaukee has to pay him. He's going to make all that money to work out and rehab. He's not going to play next year. So, yeah, well, we wish you the best, Dame. Staying in the NBA for just a moment, Cooper Flagg, he plays 2 summer league games where he averages 20.5 points a game and gets shut down. This is an interesting one. I was funny. His first summer league game, he had 10 points and let me see here, 6 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, and a block. I was with my wife over at the Okana Hotel. We were swimming, and I was catching a little bit of it on my phone. And so I left the hotel to come home, and I was like, I gotta watch the second half. I want to see this kid play. It looks like he's playing really well. And then he lays the goose egg in the second half, and his post-game remarks are basically like, I set the bar higher than that. That was not a good game for me. Comes out his next game and drops 31 points. And then they shut him down. They say, okay, we've seen all we need. How much is this factual of like, yes, Cooper Flagg is good, we don't need him to play anymore, we've seen all we need to see, versus Nico Harrison being like, oh man, if this kid gets hurt, they're gonna truly hang me in Dallas?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it would have been nice to see that trend upward continue.
Yeah,
for more than a 2-game stretch.
Yeah.
um,
which is why I have to, like, I'm sorry, that's what you just said. That is standard for summer league. I'll move it to the Thunder for a second. Nikola Topic, the lottery pick that the Thunder had, who did not play last year because of a torn ACL. He played in, I want to say, all but like 2 summer league games for the Thunder. I mean, they ran that kid every night. Now, granted, he hadn't played in a year, so he needed to get reps. They expect him to be a part of the team, but they're not sitting there saying like, oh man, what if he gets hurt? You may as well just never play if you're worried about getting hurt. I really think this whole Luka Doncic, Anthony Davis, everybody getting hurt situation in Dallas has really just scarred Nico Harrison. He's gonna at every turn avoid injury.
Yeah, I don't know that it's the right move, but it does seem like it's a strategic move.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens in Dallas. A lot of people saying they're a strong bet in the West if everybody can stay healthy. Not the strongest endorsement if you have to follow if everybody stays healthy. Matt, wrapping up major news in the sports world. This isn't really news, more of a question. Connor Bedard over in Chicago. When this kid was drafted, we were told, this is not us, this is not our opinions. We were told this is the next McDavid. This kid's the real deal. Stud. His first season, 68 games, 61 points. His second season, 82 games, 67 points. But over those 2 seasons, the Blackhawks have 48 wins, 99 losses, and 17 overtime losses. At what point does this kid say, I want out of here?
Yeah, I'd imagine it's not too long. It kind of feels like Chicago's setting his career on fire real early.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's really truly a matter of the skill doesn't transfer into the big leagues. I don't think that's the case here. He's young. There's an element of adaptability that has to be there regardless of the skills there, the league's different. It's a totally different animal to get in there and play with the big boys. So there's going to be some growing pains there, and maybe we're just seeing that right now. And regardless if he moves out soon, later, never, we might see that change. But I'd imagine he at least is probably thinking, man, this is not the place for me to thrive.
Yeah, and I like what you said about how the skill has to transfer. On the one hand, we're looking at a kid who was supposed to come in and light the league on fire, hasn't really done that, was left off of Team Canada's roster for the Four Nations. That's a big statement. Not even getting thrown in there as a scratch. On the other hand,
total lack of endorsement.
Yeah, I mean, for the fact that Team Canada's GM basically all he could say was, Connor will get his chance. He'll get his chance. It's just not right now. I'm reminded of when Connor McDavid was coming into the league and we had the World Cup of Hockey and he made Team North America and actually they slapped a C on his sweater. The kid's 20 years old. There's room for growth. You do have to say at a certain point he's got to take a little leadership in this whole thing and you got to make those better around you and not just sit and complain that you don't have a star-studded cast. But it will definitely be something to keep our eyes on, I would say, as he enters what I believe is the final year of his rookie deal. Mm-hmm. Chicago's not going to want him to leave, that's for sure. And you know why? Because they have to sell tickets.
Got to stay alive. You don't want to be the next. You want to be the next Coyotes.
Yeah, you would think that the Chicago Blackhawks is an enticing market. I don't know. I think the GM just get on the phone. Maybe we'll see next summer. Okay, moving off of all that. Moving back to where we left off last week. The NFL, the rookies headed on in. Let's just start here. Jaden Higgins, wide receiver for the Texans. If he's good, Houston's in a great place to be for, wide receivers to stay healthy. Your thoughts here?
Yeah, Houston's a very interesting team right now. And looking back over the last couple of years with CJ Stroud coming in and having a really solid rookie year and seeming like their savior at quarterback. Obviously, he didn't perform like everyone hoped in year two, but I would give him a little bit of grace there and say a good deal of that had to do with the fact that he had Tank Dell go down to injury. He had Nico Collins go down to injury multiple times. He had Stephon Diggs go down to injury. He had three huge, incredibly talented wide receivers that, should they stay healthy, were probably taking them pretty far. And, that wide receiver room got absolutely demolished by injury. So if he doesn't follow the trend of his predecessors and stays healthy, I think there's a lot of potential for him there. That seems to be a pretty solid team they've got put together right now.
I would agree. And injuries are just part of the game. Sometimes they happen.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving over to the Browns, Cleveland. Quinshon Judkins.
Yeah, this guy. Let me tell you what.
Yeah, tell me.
To before you even get signed to anything, go out and commit crimes and just potentially ruin your entire career before the preseason even starts is beyond me. I don't know how someone does that. It's like they said, hey, all you have to do is don't go do anything stupid. He said, you mean, should I go punch someone in the face? All right, I'm going to go commit an assault real quick and I'll be back. We see it all the time in the NFL. People get in trouble for this and that. And there is, unfortunately, a lot of domestic cases like that. But he had a pretty solid path forward and absolutely ruined it. I would not be surprised if they don't try to work it out and just let him go. He's not even signed.
Yeah. I see all this, I hear all this, and I hate to say it. I'm sorry, Browns fans, but I see this and I'm just like, only Cleveland. Only, I mean, come on. Like,
You want to know the crazy thing? This is the exact same thing that happened to them last year. They drafted a running back who did the exact same thing. I'm going to pull up what that story was so I can make sure I get names and all. But
yeah, and while you're looking that up, I'll just say, if only the reality of the Cleveland Browns was the movie Draft Day with Kevin Costner. If only that was the reality all the time, where there was a bright future ahead. Eesh.
Anyway,
Seems like an ongoing train wreck over there, though.
Yeah. Rest of July 12th, not that long ago, with a misdemeanor domestic battery held overnight. But yeah, an unsigned rookie. Seems like you might at least want to get your rookie deal on paper before you go out there and commit some crimes.
Yeah, that. And he did it a week after Ozzy Osbourne's last concert. Jeez. That has nothing to do with any of it.
I was mistaken. It was not a running back. It was a defensive tackle that they took last year that was also charged with domestic violence as a rookie. So, and it's no secret about their wonderful quarterback, Deshaun Watson's past. So they've got quite the trend going out there. It's a real big bummer for some of us. I drafted him in our rookie draft in Dynasty. So
too bad you didn't try to trade him to me.
Though, so I didn't spend a whole lot on him, but still.
Yeah, I'm just lucky you haven't tried to trade him to me yet.
Oh man.
Moving on, the Pats, Travion Henderson. This guy is likely to be a workhorse back over Ramondre Stevenson. I'm glad I traded him. Man, I don't know. What do you think? Up and coming Pats team could be the place to be again.
Yeah, I think Ramondre is going to be our lead back for a while. I think Travion ended up picking it up somewhere in the middle of the season. We've talked about a few players that'll be potentially like that, like Marion Hampton out in LA with Najee in front of him. And I feel like this is going to be similar. Ramondre, he had a phenomenal season a couple of years ago, and it hasn't
Yes, he
quite
did.
Oh, did you have him somewhere?
Yeah, I had him when I won the inaugural championship in our Dynasty League. My name is still in that trophy. Yeah, no, ended up trading him last year in a package deal that brought me Derrick Henry. But yeah, didn't look as good last year.
No, and he got paid too. So anyway, I think he's going to end up being the guy. It'll probably take a few weeks to get there.
Sure.
I don't think it'll take long for Ramondre to drop the ball and step aside. But yeah, Patriots, they've got a path forward from the last few years of misery that they've brought New England. Ever since TB12 left, it's been pretty rough going for them. But with Drake May stepping in, now Travion Henderson behind Ramondre, they just picked up Stephon Diggs if he's healthy. I see potential. I don't think they're going to be a playoff team, but they're not going to be absolute bottom of the barrel Carolina Saints.
Right.
I think they've got a chance to start stepping up their game a little bit.
Do you think, and I know Cowboys fans would probably disagree with this, but just stay delusional, Cowboys fans. It's okay. Do you think it's better for the league? We talked about this a couple episodes ago, I think, that it's good for the NHL if the best player is winning or if a Canadian team can win. All right. So my question is it good for the league if a franchise like the Pats is doing well?
Yes, right now. it is always good for bad teams to start doing well.
Yeah.
And by that, I mean, when they were on their tear 15 years ago to 7 years ago, however long it was, absolutely not. It was not a good thing for the entirety for an absolute dominant dynasty of a team.
Yeah.
Right now, and the Chiefs didn't win the Super Bowl last year, but they went to it. They've been to 5 of the last 6, and so right now the Chiefs are in essence that team that everybody wants to get dethroned. So when the little guys are stepping up and making a way, then yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I would agree. Okay. The Bears. Luther Burden the third, wide receiver. Bit of a crowded receiver room with tight ends considered over there in Chicago. I mean, with what we've seen, small sample size, I guess, in the grand scheme, but I mean, can Caleb Williams support multiple top 25 receivers?
It doesn't look like it, not right now.
Yeah. I don't think so.
Hard. It's hard to even say that he's supporting a single top 25 wide receiver, let alone multiple. I mean, they brought in Colston Loveland. They've got Cole Kmet, two tight ends that are going to be commanding some of the short field passing. And between the wide receiver room they put together last year and bringing Luther Burden in, he's either going to show up, show out, and take over, which I think would take a lot to do considering who they've got signed over there, or he's gonna be able to sit back and kind of learn for a little bit and be an ancillary wide receiver 3 that they bring in for 10-15% of the snaps a game, put him downfield. So I don't. If I were a wide receiver, I wouldn't want Caleb Williams throwing to me right now. He might really come out of it and start doing the thing. We don't like to point to Josh Allen too much because he's more of the exception than the rule, but there exists the possibility for any quarterback to find that right coach, that right trainer, somebody who can point out what's going on and correct it. Obviously, it takes him being able and willing to be teachable and learn. So, that's a big piece of it. But I think it's going to be a very interesting season to watch him and the Bears in general and see if they take that step forward that their fans are desperately hoping they take.
Yeah. Okay. The Saints, they go QB Tyler Shuck.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it's his for the taking if Derek Carr's out. Rattler's not the guy.
Yeah, Spencer Rattler's. He got his time on field, but he's not that guy. He is not what they need. No, he's not what they want, but it's what they have. So, if Tyler Shuck is competent at all, he's going to cast a shadow over Rattler. It's tough just because that team, they started out so hot. It looked like they were going to actually do something last year, and then it just spiraled out of control. So
yeah,
we'll see what he's got.
It's probably not, if we're saying like all he has to do is look competent and he's in. I mean, I think that kind of speaks to the rest of that team, especially the
pretty low bar right now.
Yeah. Okay, moving over to New York, the Jets. Add Mason Taylor, tight end. I would say solid addition to a pass catching need for the Jets. What's a fear for you with regards to this guy and particularly Justin Fields?
Well, I mean, Justin Fields he's a mobile quarterback, and that's always been his MO. That's been his secret weapon. So when he wasn't performing a couple years ago, everybody was screaming at their televisions, "Let the guy run."
Yeah.
They're trying to design all these plays for him to hang out in the pocket and get the ball downfield when he's a scrambler. Like, let him get squirrely and find a way out and take off. And when they finally did that, we saw him really step up and perform for him. So, so my fear is that outside of teams like Kansas City, where Travis Kelce is or has been for several years, their number one target downfield, and plays are designed to get him the ball because of his ability to make plays out of it. Typically, your tight ends are going to be blocking, and they're going to be just kind of peeling off and, hey, I'm here if you need something. So you get those dump off passes, those check downs, and with a mobile quarterback, you get less of those because their mentality is, let me take off and do it myself, as opposed to finding a running back that's just over the line or a tight end and getting them the ball. So there's that. There's also the fact that Justin Fields was just carted off in practice the other day. I think I've heard that it was not nearly as serious as it sounds, and my understanding now is that they cart off anyone who's injured, or maybe there was a fear of it being an Achilles injury. I think by the end of it, they determined it was his toe.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
So nothing too serious, but
should be ready for training camp.
Yeah, if that does become something and we go back to Tyrod Taylor, then maybe he has an incredible rookie season, because that could be exactly what he needs. It's a less capable quarterback, spends more time in the pocket, and needs that assistance.
Yeah. Yeah, well, as long as Breece Hall gets the ball, that's all I really care about right now. Okay, staying on tight ends for a second. Talk to me about Terrence Ferguson with the Rams.
I don't know that I have a whole lot to add here. Terrence Ferguson, it should be a good addition to their team. I think with Kyron and with Puka there, they've got their clear number ones.
Yeah.
And so there hasn't been much need for a pass catching tight end there. His name is escaping me right now, but their last tight end, I really only know this because I picked him up in a few leagues over the last couple years because I thought he was going to be the guy for me, and he was just never used. So that lends to the thought that they're not very tight end heavy on their receiving room.
Right.
But not every tight end has to be a receiver to be productive. I mean, the tight end position at its core is a strong blocking position to open up holes and to make routes for wide receivers more accessible. So some teams go for that over somebody who's going to catch the ball.
It does seem to get lost in translation sometimes that a tight end is not always going to rack you up at all the points in the world in fantasy, unless you've got one of those
that's why
three.
when you're looking at tight ends from a fantasy perspective, there's three that are considered elite. When we talk about and for further context, the difference between elite and the tier 2 is significant.
Yes.
It's not like a wide receiver. You have your top three, Jamar, Lamb, Jefferson, and then the next one's like AJ Brown, Puka Nacua, Amon-Ra, like some seriously good wide receivers, but there's just a slight tier break. No. We're talking like the difference between a 1,200-yard, 10-touchdown season for George Kittle and 400 yards and a touchdown or two for Dalton Kincaid. Like, that's the kind of difference we're talking about. So it's not the norm for the tight end to be the guy offensively.
Yeah, I mean, you hear it, and you go into every draft from a fantasy perspective. It really, your GM and your team, it depends on what you want to do, on what you're hoping for. And Just like with those top 3 QBs, when we talk about like Hurts and Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, it's like if you want one of those guys with the tight ends, you're going to have to grab them early. And then after that, you're probably best just standing pat for a little while because it's not going to be that big. The drop off is just so far.
Yeah. Like you're going to see Brock Bowers and George Kittle. And that's pretty much it right now that are going to be taken anywhere in like the top 6 or 7 rounds of a fantasy draft. And then when you get into rounds like 8, 9, 10, people start taking Travis Kelce now. I mean, he used to be a round 1 kind of guy, but Travis Kelce or Mark Andrews or Dalton Kincaid, it's huge disparity between them.
Yeah. Quite a bit. Okay. Moving on. Jack Beck, wide receiver for the Raiders, coming in behind Jacoby Myers. I mean, could be quite a dynamic duo.
Yeah, Jack Beck also on my dynasty team, but I've heard less than ideal things about him out of training camp. Not anything bad, just not that he's the guy that he's stepping up to be a number 1 or a clear number 2, even behind Jacoby Myers.
Yeah,
there's plenty of potential there. Again, we've talked about Vegas and them bringing a new coach and a new quarterback and a star rookie running back and a star second-year tight end. So it would be quite impressive if they did all that and got another star wide receiver. It seems unlikely that they fill all those spots in such a powerful way. I think he'll be a nice additional piece downfield, and he'll probably make his way and cut his teeth behind a couple of veterans. But yeah, we'll have to see how the rest of this shakes out. I'd like to see him in some game speed play in some preseason. That should be nice to watch.
Yeah, really just a depth piece at this point. Okay, and last but certainly not least, RJ Harvey, running back for the Broncos, coming in behind J.K. Dobbins and Jaleel McLaughlin. I don't know. Think he's going to get some reps this year?
Yeah, I do. And the main reason that I think that is because J.K. Dobbins is notoriously injured. So
That helps.
Yeah, and on top of that, we also have some injuries for Jaleel. So it's not inconceivable that he could be the number 1 at any given moment this season with both of these guys potentially going down to injury. J.K. Dobbins came back from injury and actually looked surprisingly good last year. So I think that's what Denver's hoping for here.
Sure.
I don't think that that he's the answer that they are expecting. I'm sure he'll be a solid piece of the backfield, but RJ Harvey is in a spot that he could definitely take over if only for age related reasons. J.K. Dobbins is on the back end of his career, and that's even without the injury. I mean, I say back end, he's 26, so
yeah,
it's not over for the guy. But then you add in the injury history, and it's probably not going to be as lengthy a career as Derrick Henry, as he's coming off an absolute dominant season at 31, 32 years old. So
yeah,
he's probably on the back end of it now, and this is a good chance for RJ Harvey to get in there and learn a little bit, show him what he's got. So
yeah,
for the league, for the sport, I hope he does well. As a Chiefs fan, I'd love to see them all fall on their face.
So here's a question. This isn't in our notes, but I was hanging with my dad yesterday. We were just talking, getting excited for football to come back. I work, for our listeners who don't know, for a living, I do marketing. And I've always said, if there's one group I would just kill to go learn marketing from, it would be the Dallas Cowboys. Because my goodness, if every year these guys don't fall flat on their faces, but hey, then give it 6 months or so, breathe, and those fans and even the media are like, this is it. This is the year. Dak is back. I mean, we don't have to spend a lot of time here. I don't want to just spend the rest of our show ragging on the Cowboys' clear blindness, but why? What is their CD Lamb? I guess. What else do they have going for them?
Well, they did just, I guess poaching probably isn't the right word, but we'll say it. They did just poach Javonte Williams from Denver.
Yeah.
So they've got a relatively young, also perpetually injured running back now. They've got Dak, who can't seem to stay healthy. Who did they just pick up? Oh, George Pickens. Got him from Pittsburgh. So they have another pretty solid piece downfield to help CD out. But yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, it's not to be insensitive, but it does feel like somewhat of a Hitler-esque type of charisma that someone has over there for them to say, look, we're doing terrible things, but it's going to be okay.
It's going to be good.
Me. And people are like, yeah, we trust you. Keep making these decisions. We'll follow you.
Yeah, as somebody who lived in Dallas for 30 years, I was not raised a Cowboys fan. I think I've said this before. I'm a Giants fan, so not like I have a whole lot to cheer for over there. That's why I kind of dig deeper and deeper into fantasy every year until such time ends as the Giants give me something. But my gosh, I mean, all my friends back home, they're just like, oh, bro, you wait. The Cowboys are going to – I'm like, oh, okay. All right, I will wait, and you will as well. And their marketing department, man, I just got to learn what they're doing, what's the secret sauce is.
Yeah, it's impressive to consistently year over year turn out crap and pass it off as gold. And people are like, yes, we want more.
Yeah.
Let's do it again.
Yeah, because it continues to work out so well. Well, that's all I have on the NFL. Any other thoughts from you, my friend?
I'm ready for some football. That's all. It's coming up soon. The Hall of Fame game is this Thursday, and I'm gonna watch it just because I need some football. I don't think it's gonna be anything close to what I'm really wanting, but it'll give me something to tide me over till we get some preseason games. So we're not far off. Just a few weeks for the first kickoff, and just a little over a month before the season starts. So it's coming up soon.
Yeah, I'm ready for all that football brings with it. I've said this for years, and for our listeners, if it's not clear, I am not the biggest football aficionado. I'm more on the hockey side with some basketball sprinkled in there. I do love football, but I will say the older I get, I love what football represents. It's hoodie weather is on the return.
Yeah.
It's fantasy drafts. It's Sunday afternoons of just being glued to the TV. Yeah, definitely ready for some football. When the basketball and hockey ends, I'm never really ready to let it go, which is why I find myself watching Summer League, or the other night whenever you and I were at main event and we saw that very odd 3-on-3 hockey.
Yeah, that was something.
That was. But you find yourself looking at it and you're like, this isn't really scratching my itch right now. And you kind of are I'm at a point now where I'm like, it's not even so much that I'm ready for hockey and basketball to come back, which I am, but I'm really just ready for football. Like, let's go.
Yeah, there's something about the difference in schedule that makes it special. I won't say better, but it's unique. Where baseball, basketball, hockey, you got games like every night, and and you almost become like desensitized to it. You're just like, okay,
Sure.
there's a game on tonight. If I want to watch sports or something, football is like, bro, I can't wait till Thursday. There's a single game. I'm gonna watch it, and then, oh man, I'm gonna wait 2 more days. But Sunday, dude, Sunday all afternoon. We got a night game, and there's something Monday. Yeah, it's something different.
Yeah, I mean, there's no denying that a football schedule versus let's just throw it out, basketball, right? I mean, 82 games for the NBA, and even if you're a diehard Thunder fan like I am, like my wife is, yeah, I mean, if you see the Thunder drop a game to Cleveland in December, you're like, well, shucks. That's fine though. That's one game. Whereas if you see the Chiefs drop a game, you're like, oh wow,
Yeah,
one game,
yeah,
one game.
that could do it.
That could be the decider right there. Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with you there. There's something special with that schedule, and I mean, and we don't get it all year long. You get it for a little bit, and then it's gone for quite a while. So just try to you definitely enjoy it while you have it. Well, I think that's all we got today on the Sports Collective. Thank you all for listening. Be sure to like and subscribe wherever you are. Throw us some comments. Tell us what we're doing right, doing wrong. We can take it. This is a podcast that is a culture of feedback. Absolutely. And that's all we got. Hunter, anything from you?
Nothing else, man. See ya.
All right. See ya.